Hello, my name is Hang Ruan, Senior Social Worker at the VA Vision 20 Telepain Program. Today I'll be talking to you about mindfulness for anxiety. And this is part of the Mindfulness for Cancer Survivors video series. So in this video, we'll be talking a little bit about what mindfulness is, what anxiety is, and how mindfulness can be helpful for anxiety. In this brief introductory video, we'll be learning some introductory concepts as well as some introductory skills on mindfulness training. And this video is not intended to be treatment for anxiety disorders. If you struggle with significant anxiety, I would recommend reaching out to your healthcare provider for assessment and treatment, part of which may include mindfulness skills. And if you're experiencing high anxiety right now, in this moment, I would recommend trying out some of those calming activities at one of the following sections before engaging with some of the specific mindfulness exercises. We just want to make sure that you're at a place where you feel safe and are most able to take advantage of the mindfulness exercises. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is defined as the non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. Now that simply means paying attention to what's happening right here, right now, in a deliberate way, in a non-judgmental way. And mindfulness is a skill that can be learned. It's a technique that can be strengthened through practice and repetition. In this video, we're giving you a taste of what mindfulness is, and it is our hope that you will continue to practice it so that it'll become a useful skill to help you in your life. What is anxiety? Anxiety is a general sense of unease. It's a very common experience in human life. If you feel anxiety, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means that you're human. Anxiety can be a combination of physical sensations, thoughts, and emotions. And in terms of physical sensations of anxiety, it might include things like headaches, sweating, a feeling of nervousness and restlessness, muscle tension, increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, rapid breathing, and one might even experience gastrointestinal problems, such as an upset stomach or butterflies in the stomach. In terms of thoughts, we might find ourselves having trouble concentrating or focusing because our thinking is so wrapped up with worrying about different kinds of things. And emotionally, we might find ourselves having a sense of danger or a sense of things being unsettled. So how can mindfulness help? Studies show that mindfulness activates our body's relaxation response. Now, why is that important? Well, when we are stressed, when we are anxious, our body activates the stress response, also known as the fight or flight response, which is regulated by the sympathetic nervous system. So when the stress response is activated, all those things that we mentioned earlier kick in. The increased heart rate, the rapid breathing, muscle tension, tunnel vision. Now, all those things are actually meant to help us survive because they are meant to prepare us and get us ready to engage with any kind of threat that may be present in our environment. But when there's no longer any actual physical danger that is present, and yet this fight or flight response remains activated, that becomes anxiety. Now, our body also has another kind of response called the relaxation response, also known as the rest and digest response. And as you can guess, when the relaxation response is activated, we feel more relaxed. Our breathing slows down. Our heartbeat slows down. Blood pressure goes down. Our body can divert its resources to things like digestion, tissue repair, rest, and rejuvenation. And like I said earlier, mindfulness technique activates our body's relaxation response. And it's a technique that anybody can learn. And with more practice and training, anyone can become more proficient at using this skill. In the following sections of this video, we'll be engaging in some mindfulness practice together through some guided exercises. And like I mentioned earlier, if you are feeling high levels of anxiety or high levels of restlessness at this moment, it's perfectly okay to hold off on trying some of these mindfulness exercises. Or you may choose to engage in some simple calming activities to soothe and nurture yourself. Because the most important thing is to feel safe. In fact, even while you're doing the mindfulness exercise, if at any point you start to feel unsafe, it's perfectly fine to stop the exercise, get up and do something else to take care of yourself. Some very simple activities can have a very calming effect. You may consider taking a leisurely walk at one of your favorite spots, a park, a hike. You may consider spending some time in your garden next to some of your favorite plants. You could consider lighting some aromatic candles, sipping on a cup of warm tea, listening to some soothing music, reading a light book, or perhaps writing into a journal. If there are things that you have done in the past that you have found to be helpful during times of high stress and high anxiety, I encourage you to reach into your toolbox and pull out some of those tools. And when you're feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit less anxious, and ready to try out these exercises, then come back and resume the video. In the next section, we'll discuss preparing your space to get ready for these exercises. To get the most out of the following exercises, I would recommend preparing your space ahead of time. Find a location that is quiet, private, and warm. And find a chair that you can sit comfortably in for 5 to 10 minutes. You may also grab a blanket to keep warm if that's desired. And you may also use a small pillow or cushion to help with posture and support if that's needed. And be prepared to feel safe and relaxed. Get into a comfortable position, more or less comfortable, shifting and swaying slightly, and settling in to a posture that is balanced between open and attentive. Both feet firmly planted on the floor, if that's possible for you. Hands on your lap or laced in front of your belly. Head, neck, shoulders, back form a straight line, but not stiff. Eyes can be closed or half open. Start with a deep breath into your lower belly. Breathe out fully, all the way. Drop your shoulders away from your ears as you breathe out. And resume normal breathing. And please feel free to modify these instructions as you need in order to feel safe and to take care of yourself. These are merely suggestions to help us return to the present moment, and there is no right or wrong way to do that. So please, do what you need to take care of yourself. Now simply notice what's happening right here, right now. Tune in to your sensory inputs. Noticing, what do you hear right now? Sounds in the room that you're in, sounds in the next room, sounds outside. What do you smell right now? What do you taste, see, touch, and feel? Simply notice what your senses are picking up right here in the space that you're in right now, this very moment. And notice the chair that you're sitting on and how the chair feels. Notice where your body touches the chair and what those points of contact feel like. Just allow yourself to just kind of melt onto the chair and relax onto the chair, because the chair is holding you up. So there's no need to tense up or struggle. Just kind of melt onto the chair, allowing gravity to do its job. Now, our senses connect us to our life as it's unfolding in each moment. And connecting to our senses help ground us in the present moment, because our senses are always operating in the here and now. And if at any point you notice that you're distracted by some thoughts, thinking about the future or the past, or maybe some anxiety or stress that's come up, simply notice it. It's okay that they're there. It's very natural to be distracted. Notice what's caught your attention and see if you can gently let it go for now and redirect your attention back to your senses, back to the chair you're sitting on, back to sounds that you hear right now. Just coming back to the present moment. Noticing how the chair feels under your buttocks, how your feet feel inside your shoes and socks. Just coming back to right now. And take one last deep breath, deep into your lower belly. Breathe out fully, all the way. Drop your shoulders away from your ears as you breathe out. Relax your body. Relax your arms and legs. And visualize your surroundings. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. Hopefully, after that preliminary exercise, you're feeling a bit more centered and grounded. Connecting with our senses can have a very grounding effect and help us calm down. And now we'll move into another exercise, which will be a more focused mindfulness exercise on breath awareness. Get into a comfortable position, more or less comfortable, finding that upright posture that's balanced between open and attentive. And start with a deep breath into your lower belly. And breathe out fully all the way. Drop your shoulders away from your ears as you breathe out. Resume normal breathing. Tune in to this moment. Tune in to your senses and settle into right here, right now. Find your breath in your body, wherever you feel your breath the most. Just follow your breath as you're breathing in breathing out. And just watch your breath as it's rising and falling. There's no need to change or control your breathing in any way. Simply notice how it feels. And breathing in, you may notice a cool sensation at the tip or back of your nose as the air goes in. I invite you to physically feel that coolness in your nose each time you breathe in. And that's all you have to do for the remainder of this exercise. Breathing in, physically feeling the coolness in your nose as clearly as you can. As soon as you notice that you're wrapped up in some thoughts or imagery, perhaps you're worrying about something coming up, or thinking about something that's happened in the past, or perhaps you're commenting on the exercise and how you're doing on it. Any of that's okay. It's very natural and normal for the mind to do that. And whatever's caught your attention, simply recognize it and gently let it go for now. And redirect your attention back to the breath, breathing in, physically feeling the coolness in your nose as clearly as you can. And you might also feel your chest or belly rising, expanding as you breathe in. It's also okay to connect with that. The point is to connect with the physical sensations of each breath and allowing those physical sensations of breathing to ground us in this present moment. Because this breath is always happening right now. And if you're noticing some anxiety or some tension in your body, just notice it, acknowledge that it's there, and without trying to push it away, see if you can come back to your breath, breathing in, feeling the coolness in your nose, and kind of breathe into that tension or that anxiety. Just allowing the breath to ground you in the present. And if you're pulled away yet again by thoughts or tension in your body, just acknowledge it and just notice what those thoughts are and gently let them go without judgment. And notice where the tension is, where you feel them in your body, and notice what they feel like. and also without judgment of the tension, of the discomfort. See if you can shift your attention back to the breath, breathing in, feeling the coolness in your nose, breathing into the tension and the discomfort, breathing through it with kindness, with compassion. Whether it's some tension in your shoulders, tightness in your chest, an increased heartbeat, just notice that, acknowledge that it's there, and then breathing into it, breathing through it. Feeling the coolness in your nose as you breathe in, feeling your chest or belly rising, expanding. Just coming back to the breath, connecting with the breath. And if you get pulled away 50 times by thoughts and discomfort, simply notice them and come back to the breath 50 times. Just keep coming back to the coolness in your nose, breathing into the tension, breathing through the tension. And doing so with patience and compassion for yourself. Last 60 seconds. One last deep breath, deep into your lower belly. Breathe out fully, all the way. Drop your shoulders away from your ears as you breathe out. Relax your body, relax your arms and legs. Visualize your surroundings. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. So how was that mindfulness practice for you? Perhaps you found it calming and relaxing, and perhaps you found it challenging. Any kind of experience you had is okay. Everyone will have a different experience with mindfulness, and a different one depending on the day or time that they practice. The important thing is, in that mindfulness practice, you had an opportunity to learn to come back to the present moment and to reside in the present. And even if you might have noticed some anxiety, tension, or discomfort, you were able to just notice it, sit with it, and kind of breathe into it, as opposed to running away from it or pushing it away. Because when we do that, when we push away the anxiety or try to, it could actually make the anxiety stronger because we're kind of having a fight with it. And like I've been saying, mindfulness is a skill that can be strengthened through practice and repetition. Mindfulness is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So with more practice, anyone can get good at it. You can become more proficient and more skilled at using it to work with anxiety and stress in your life. Hopefully in this video, you had the opportunity to gain some familiarity with the basic concepts of what mindfulness is, what anxiety is, and how mindfulness can help with anxiety, as well as gaining some hands-on experiential learning of mindfulness. I hope that you will continue to learn about mindfulness and practice mindfulness so that it will become a useful tool and a helpful support for you in your life.